Hi there, that's right. It's Nick Dutch, back on the camera yet again. How the heck's it going? A little while ago I did a video entitled Hell is Real, in which I suppose hypothesized that the word hell actually stands for a state of mind, a state of possibly self-torture or a sense of self-misery. I'm now going to, again, hypothetically hypothesize that the devil is real. That's right, the devil is in fact real. I can justify this in many different ways. First and foremost, I am not saying that the devil is a being. I'm not saying that the devil is some kind of creature with horns on his head and a tail and a forked tongue and all the rest of that. But I am saying that the devil is real, because it is something which stands for something which is essentially real. Just like the word pen may stand for this object, but the word pen is in fact independent of the object. So what is the devil if it's not a being, if it's not something which actually enslaves you or ensnares you? I would say it is drives that you have within you. Part of the things that makes you human, but a part of your humanity which is not necessarily in balance. Now let's say that there's good and that there is evil. Now if good is a state of personal perfection in which you are as happy as you can be, you're in the right place, you've got enough knowledge of your character to be doing the right job, be in the right social groups and be doing the right things. So maybe the work that you do, the hobbies that you have, the time that you spend with people, it's all quite harmonious and things are going according to plan. Let's say that's what good is. What if you were someone who was one of these good people and you developed some kind of impulse or drive that led you to start behaving in a way which was out of keeping with the needs of society and the needs of you as an individual? Let's say you developed an addiction to alcohol or drugs. Let's say you developed an addiction to gambling and lost all the money that you would otherwise need for your rent, for your bills, for your food, on gambling. And all of this driven by something inside you, an obsession or a compulsion to do something which is actually detrimental to you, despite the fact it might provide you either with some kind of temporary release or some kind of temporary emotional pleasure. We can take, for example, the desires that I have to buy things that I often don't use all that much, although I have to confess I have used this mobile phone predominantly for making some of my earlier YouTube videos. But when I bought that, I bought it because I was obsessed by something about it, namely it had Skype on it, and I used Skype rather a lot at that time in my life. Although realistically, I actually couldn't think of a time when I would actually use that when I'm out of the house. So I might as well just have used Skype when I was on the computer. In that respect, I'd done something, namely spend a bit of money on an object which I didn't actually need, and that money could have gone on other things such as food or direct debits and all the rest of that. In that respect, I'd done something that was devilish. I performed an action that was as a result of a drive or an impulse inside of me which led me to do something that was temporarily detrimental to me. Although I did later on find a use for the object, the fact of the matter remains that there was something, which in this case was something inside me, namely an instinct or an impulse or a drive to try and get something that I thought would provide me with some benefits, when intellectually speaking it couldn't actually provide me with any benefits whatsoever. But this thing, whatever it was, this abstract thing, it actually existed. It had a noticeable result in the outside world, namely to make me buy something. We all have this to a certain extent, some to a greater extent, some to a lesser extent. It's not just the desire to buy things, it can be the desire to do things which are detrimental to other people, and therefore to have a negative impact also upon ourselves, and possibly to make the rest of our society or community see us in a rather bad light. This can manifest in many different ways, but my point still remains. This thing, whatever it is, actually exists. In religion, the idea of the devil has been blown up out of all proportion, as is very traditional with religions anyway. And as such, people have taken a much more literalist interpretation of what the devil is. I don't think this has actually been helpful to anyone who is actually a religious individual. If they were to see the personification of the devil as a personification of something that was inside of them, maybe the desire to do something which is inappropriate or incorrect, or maybe something to do with the way that the person conducts their relationships. Now, as a professional tarot reader, I often get clients who are looking for some kind of intellectual or emotional solutions to relationship issues that they've got. A while ago, I actually gave the analogy of the devil to one of my clients. She was someone who had a rather complex relationship environment. She was already married to a man that she loved very dearly, and she would do anything on the face of the planet to keep him as her partner. Forever. Literally forever. But there was something inside her, a craving, a desire for another individual. And she was basically asking me whether it was right or appropriate for her to build the other relationship, this other adulterous relationship. In that case, I had to point out to her that the relationship with her husband is good, and that the adulterous relationship, despite the fact that she wanted it, she needed it, she had this feeling of connection with this other individual, was in fact wrong for her. I gave the example of the story of Revelations, the idea that there is two forces in the universe, one which provides you all the things that you need, such as, food, shelter, stability, understanding, a sense of peace and a sense of love and a sense of light and doing the next right thing and all the rest of that. And another one which is the drives, the more sort of animalistic part of ourselves where we want to take more than is right for us, or maybe we want to do something which is going to provide us with a sense of pleasure, but throwing the important things in life out of the window. And I then asked her to think carefully about her relationship situation between herself and her husband, and herself and this potential lover. And I asked her to draw the analogy between God versus the devil and the husband versus the lover. Fortunately for me, this client was actually quite intelligent and could see what I was trying to get at. And I pointed out that the lover wasn't actually evil, and the fact that she had desires for the lover was also not evil. But the fact that the drive was so strong, and if she was to listen to that drive, she could then end up destroying the relationship with her husband, and thus causing her a feeling of basically negativity, because essentially the husband will then find out about the adulterous relationship, the husband will then leave her, and on top of that, the relationship with the lover might also come to an end, possibly leaving the woman alone and having destroyed basically everything that she previously had. So, in that example, we could see that there were some things which were godly, some things which were devilish, let's say. And we can use religious analogies to try and help people to understand what is right for a particular rather complex situation which the individual is suffering or struggling to understand emotionally and intellectually. Alright? So, number one, we can say that yes, this devil thing exists, but it's in you. It's that maybe addictive craving for something. Alright? Number two, we can use religion in an intelligent manner to help somebody under some circumstances. And yes, as a tarot reader, professional tarot reader, I'm in a position of the unofficial counselor. So this is what I do in a lot of the calls that I get. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And three, well, that's completely escaped me, so I'll have to leave that up for you to work out. But either way, religion can still be beneficial under some circumstances. Alright? I'll leave it there for now. Leave your comments, rate, subscribe, favorite, send this out on Twitter, post it to your blog, share it to the world, let the whole wide world know that the devil actually exists. Speak to you in a while. Nick Dutch signing out.